A netizen shared about Gong Xiaonan and said New Year's Eve is supposed to be a time for family reunion, but because of the Chinese Communist Party's tyrannical regime, an unknown number of courageous people were sentenced to prison, put under house arrest, or were forced to live in exile, just because they wanted to speak the truth. Let us wish these people, who formed the backbone of the Chinese nation, a very happy new year. Let us also never forget them in our prayers. A netizen shared this picture. It appears that the residents in this unit were trying to convey the message that they do not have enough clothing to wear or food to eat. A netizen shared more about the announcement that Xi Jinping recently made regarding poverty alleviation in China, even though she reiterated that the goal that has been set forth regarding poverty alleviation has already been met. Foreign news outlets have pointed out that Communist China's official poverty line for 2020 was 4,000 yuan, which is equivalent to $612 a year. But the official poverty line set by the World Bank is $1.9 per day, which is equivalent to $963.5 per year. So frankly, the poverty line that she set forth was lower than the global standard. A netizen shared that words like poor, poverty are not allowed to be written in project proposals or fundraising campaigns on the Tencent platform. A netizen wondered why it was told that because the government has already announced that poverty has been eradicated across the country. A netizen replied, what the Chinese Communist Party really intended to do and indeed achieved was to eliminate and ban the word poverty, just in its written form. A netizen shared this video clip regarding Chinese New Year celebration in Xinjiang. A netizen replied, according to the report from Radio Free Asia, many residents in the Xinjiang region mentioned that the Chinese government forced the Uyghurs to celebrate the Chinese New Year with Communist Party characteristics. Those that refuse to will be labeled as extremists who boycott Chinese culture and will be put into the concentration camps. A netizen replied, when it comes to the Uyghur issue, a moment that I can never forget is when I saw Uyghurs from around the world holding banners with the following words written in Chinese, "Are my family members." A netizen shared that according to data released by the national television station, the telecast audience ratings of CCTV's Lunar New Year's Eve Gala has been about 30% over the past few years. A netizen replied, the Spring Festival Gala is incredibly similar to the Xinwen Lianbo, literally translated as News Simulcast, which is the Chinese Communist Party's daily news program, also produced by CCTV. A netizen replied, the production quality of CCTV's Spring Festival Gala has been getting poor over the past few years. I think this is a real failure. To put it frankly, the content has never truly touched people's hearts. Those that pretended to be were either part of the production crew or those that intentionally tried to ignore all the atrocities people have experienced under the Communist Party regime. A netizen replied, CCTV Spring Festival Gala is just like the theatrical version of 学习强国, which literally translated is Study and Strengthen the Nation, or Study the Powerful Nation, which is a Chinese app originally designed to teach Xi Jinping thought. It can also be described as the supreme version of the CCP's propaganda apparatus. Upon seeing it, even Joseph Goebbels would be impressed by its expert production. A netizen replied, also upon watching it, Joseph Goebbels may also complain by saying that as long as there was the so-called Spring Festival in Nazi Germany, it would have been impossible for the Third Reich to collapse. A netizen replied, in fact, the name of Spring Festival was invented by the Chinese Communist Party as a part of its propaganda campaign. By doing so, the CCP has been seeking to distort traditional Chinese culture. A netizen replied, this may not be common knowledge, but Taiwanese never watch the Spring Festival Gala when they're having the New Year's Eve dinner. A netizen shared this picture. The red area shown on this map marks the population in China that always watch the CCTV Spring Festival Gala. It's clear that most of them are those living in the northeastern part of China. People living in provinces that together form the yellow area, generally speaking, would watch the gala. But for the area that's marked by beige, people living there only watch the gala occasionally or sometimes. A netizen replied, "In the WeChat conversations, netizens cannot send out phrases that depict the Spring Festival Gala in a negative way, or that are critical of it. I am disgusted by WeChat's censorship over these simple phrases. They are not even political in nature. My New Year wish is that we can all survive and live well." A netizen replied, "To put it more accurately, what's happening is that you sent the messages that contain these phrases, but the other party is not allowed to see them. And this is what's even more scary. You thought you've already used those words, or you've already spoken up, but in reality, nobody saw them or heard them." A netizen shared this picture showing what's happening on the streets of Myanmar on the Chinese New Year's Eve. A netizen replied, "The young people in Myanmar are still fighting for democracy and freedom on the streets at a time of family reunion and celebration. We send our best wishes to them." A netizen shared this video clip showing the Myanmar people protesting in front of the Chinese consulate.
业民众在首都仰光的中共大使馆外抗议中共支持发动政变的缅甸军政府。网络流传中共派遣技术人员和设备帮助军政府封锁网络。抗议者举着“请从中国来的网络技术人员马上离开，停止帮助军事政变，帮助人民，不要帮助政变军队”等中英文双语的标语，高喊口号。还有漫画表现中共操纵军政府首领敏昂莱。周三，中共驻缅甸大使馆在脸书上发声明称，近日中国飞抵缅甸的多架飞机不是运送相关技术人员，而是运载海鲜等进出口货物。
A netizen shared this picture, which quite accurately described what Xi Jinping has been doing and how his fellow Communist Party officials have been reacting. This picture is also meant to mock a nickname that Xi has been given by netizens, as well as many other human rights activists, which is Master Accelerator, because every single action or move that he has taken, especially in the past year, has increasingly revealed the true color of the Chinese Communist Party regime to the entire world, as well as to the Chinese people themselves. And that's why he has been truly leading himself and the party to the final phase of destruction.
Child, we will take you in. Child, we will bring you home. You'll be a flower that sees the spring.